and to 7.4 by 2027.
Newly elected LUMEZI member of not leaving behind any tangible interview with Camnet News, Mr. NGOMA pledged to align his efforts with the United Party for National Development, UPND's developmental agenda to bring meaningful change to the people of LUMEZI. He says he has urgent issues requiring immediate action. Mr. NGOMA stressed that addressing these challenges is key to improving life constituency. The lawmaker also expressed a strong commitment to leveraging the Constituency Development Fund (CDF) to drive infrastructure projects, particularly in the health sector, which he said remains critically under-resourced.
Express there's nowhere where my predecessor left work in LUMEZI. What we are basically doing is to continue the developmental agenda for UPND, because you are aware that the previous member of parliament was an absentee in LUMEZI, and so where we are now is a continuous process. I've been a DC there in the LUMEZI constituency, so we started and we are continuing to provide services to the communities. What is more urgent now is to open up the feeder roads in LUMEZI. These feeder roads were never looked at. For the previous government, they never looked at any of those. So we are looking at feeder roads, but I've got also an urgent matter in the valley where there's human-animal conflict. We are trying to find a solution to make sure that our people are protected in the part of LUMEZI, in Rwambe National Park, Lumimba National Park, and as well as Lukusuzi National Park, in Mwanya, Kazembe, and of course Chitunguru Shifto. So these people are in constant threat because of the elephants, because of the buffaloes, because of the lions, and we are trying to find a solution to that. And one of the solutions is we have the monies under CDF, which we are going to look at it and see how it can help us.
Former Kasanengwa Member of Parliament, Sensio Banda, has discredited the latest Financial Intelligence Center (FIC) report, which indicates that corruption in public sector institutions has reduced, arguing that the figures do not reflect the reality on the ground. Speaking in an interview, Mr. Banda said that while the report may show a decline in corruption on paper, the situation is far worse in practice. He argued that the country has not seen corresponding convictions of public officials, which calls into question the credibility of the report's findings. He further noted that illicit financial flows remain a major concern, citing the reported outflow of $3.5 billion, which he believes is evidence that corruption is still thriving in the private sector. Mr. Banda said the rise in suspicious transactions undermines the credibility of the report and the institutions meant to fight financial crimes. Mr. Banda has since called on government and oversight institutions to back data with decisive action, warning that if unchecked, corruption and financial crimes will continue to erode public trust and cripple development efforts.
The FIC report, and obviously I picked up one or two issues. I'm alive to the fact that actually government has pronounced itself on what the FIC report tells, and that effect they did that actually against corruption has improved. But the other view, to the contrary, is that much as they have based their inference on one factor, which is the public sector, in which they say the vice has reduced in the public sector to an extent that 55 reports were analyzed, and 2024 they reduced to 40. But also the issue which arises is that was that reduction a genuine decline in corruption, or there were race reports, or are there any factors which actually indicating otherwise? For me, for us, for one, a conclusive finding or inference is that there's need to triangulate information. For example, the public sector vis-a-vis with what are the versus the exposure and conviction, and also what is happening in the public sector. For argument's sake, if we look at the same public sector, it is reported that actually 951 cases are reported, and only 3 convictable forfeiture, base forfeiture were taken, and also about only 7 are non-convictable forfeiture cases were undertaken. This is at the backdrop of 951 cases being actually reported.
Chasefu Independent Member of Parliament, Nsheki Nyambose, has accused previous governments of neglecting Chasefu constituency in Eastern Province, stating that meaningful development in the area only began after the United Party for National Development, UPND, took office under President Hakainde Hichilema. Speaking during a media briefing in Lusaka today, Mr. Nyambose said Chasefu has for years lagged behind in infrastructure development, especially in the education sector. He noted that most schools lacked proper facilities, which affected both the morale of learners and the performance of teachers. Mr. Nyambose said residents of Chasefu have high expectations and are now looking up to him to lobby for further development to bridge the rural-urban divide. He stressed that it is his ambition to see Chasefu match standards of more developed constituencies in terms of basic service delivery.
We are the most fortunate members of parliament in the history of this country. Why do I say so? A member of parliament is elected, one of the functions to make laws. Apart from making laws, a member of parliament is elected to lobby, to call for development in his or her constituency. Now, historically, you may wish to know that it's been very difficult in this country to see members of parliament pointing at anything significant in their areas, those who were there before us, to do for the people. So the turnover has been very high previously, because during the time of elections you were asked, what did you do for us? You may wish to know also, members of the press, that the Zambian people are very expectant of their leaders, what they do for them. Hence, us as members of parliament, our people in our constituencies, particularly Chasefu, which is one of the constituencies in this Republic of Zambia, which was highly neglected. You may hear the name Chasefu, but you go there, you see for yourselves the underdevelopment that was there before 2021. In Chasefu, we had so many schools.
Residents of Nomai area in Mongu district are appealing to the local authority to construct a better gravel road in the area, as the only road is too sandy. Speaking to Camnet News in Nomai area in Mongu district, Mwendalubi Muyambango says they find it difficult to transport their goods to and from the tarred road as the area is too sandy. And Mongu Municipal Council Director of Engineering, Engineer John Siangandu, confirmed the development, stating that the council is doing everything possible to see that the feeder road is worked on in the budget for 2026. Mr. Siangandu further urged residents of Nomai area to engage the Ward Development Committee in the area to prioritize the road network. Here's a report.
Despite presidential directive to make sure that all roads are accessible and worked on, some feeder roads in Mungu district still remains a critical challenge. Residents of the area in Mungu district are crying for better roads, as the area still use sand roads after promising a better gravel road. Speaking to Camnet News in Nomai area in Mungu district, Mwendarobi Muyambango is appealing to the local authority for a better gravel road in the area.
Kwano mai nyandile fana kwete kamba rusanyanda fana kwete kwa mana nitava ya mukwakwa nulukupile hangata kwa muso kuli muso kambi wali kakulubone atava ya mukwakwa na upila kili shavati lulile na kuzimani ni baluna nulubakile baya kati kwene basabata vote ya bona nabakile babu moto ya bona haishwela kasiba kasi basirundu hasebo yambwa ni chasali no taba ya pili anikava fa first tulo seka first pula fa amilukisa taba kwakwa twale taba yale ngachenule vompi bana saba hupoza kulikambe bahupule mkwakwa wayo wanoma uruziele hile.
And other residents echoed similar concerns, stating that they find it difficult to the nearest road.
Luizi mabutata kwa mana ni zamairo ya luna mukwakwa na usinye hile kilisha batifera rusepisuzwe mwana kwetelele ruti efitenge rusepisa mukwakwa gravel nikache kule manyando aluna mukwakwa asazo yapimane ko muri kutwaga ka kuli mwendiro na banomai rutetuluzu ya rubaru ihande mwana haya Zambia oyaluna huruki yakuli baruhu pole kwa tele mukwakwa bakarupangira mukwakwa ukarutisa zwero pili ingatami yaho likama nikafera mwendiri kalikabahande.
Meanwhile, Mungu Municipal Council Director of Engineering, Engineer John Sengando, has assured the resident that the council will soon embark on feeder road works.
And in regards to the road that leads to Nomai Primary School, and from Nomai it also goes to Ikulwe. So, for us, we are starting in Yeta Ward itself, we are starting with the Sefula Road. This is the road that we are doing in the year 2025. Now, these are presidential directives that we are considering feeder roads that acts as a feeder road. So as we move forward, we need to also identify it through the WDCs of Yeta Ward as a priority project, maybe in the year. That is the plan. That is the vision of the local authority, to have all the feeder roads accessible without any problems, and with the fund that is being provided for under the Constituency Development Fund, we are able to do such projects.
Mosiabo Kabira, Camnet News in Mungu District, West Province.
Over 150 students have graduated today at the Texila American University, Zambia, in various faculties, including medicine, public health, and business management. Guest of honor, Minister of Health, Dr. Elijah Muchima, in a speech read on his behalf by his permanent secretary, Donor Coordination, George Nyangwe, has hailed the graduates for their resilience and urged them to serve the country with humility and integrity. He said the nation needs their skills now more than ever, especially in rural and undeserved communities where health personnel remains scarce. Dr. Muchima also commended Texila for producing professionals who are not only academically sound but socially conscious. Meanwhile, Vice Chancellor Professor A.J. Poda, speaking on behalf of the university's founders, congratulated the graduates and reminded them that their qualifications must translate into impact. And special guest speaker, Brigadier General Professor Lawson Timapuka, who is also the director of the National Forensic Authority, challenged the graduates to lead with purpose and patriotism.
The graduates, all of you in general, now combining all the graduates in general, the journey starts today. You are stepping into a world of challenges and opportunities. Remain grounded. remain patriotic, uphold ethics, and wherever your path leads you, whether to a rural clinic or a boardroom, a research laboratory, or global health forum, the Zambia with you. And not only the Zambia flag with you, but a high.
On their behalf, I extend warm greetings and heartfelt congratulations to each of you gathered here to celebrate this defining moment. Today marks more than a ceremony. It is a celebration of resilience, ambition, and the unyielding power of education to reshape destinies to the class of 2025. You are living the embodiment of Texila's mission to cultivate leaders who will not only excel in their fields, but also ignite progress across Zambia and their wider strategic vision.
Dear graduates, the certificates you receive today is not just a paper. It is a passport to purpose. Carry it with confidence and with the knowledge that you are equipped to make a difference in the world. Once again, congratulations on your achievements. May your journey be bold, impactful, and above all, meaningful.
You are still watching main news on Camnet TV, broadcasting live on Talk Channel 106, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and the Kingstream app. We now take our first set of commercials. Do join us for international and sports news when we come back. Please do stay tuned.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond of victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, and the administration issues in the judiciary. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Enjoy the benefits of a loan with us ranging from 1,000 kwacha to 750,000 kwacha paid express once is viewed, valued and verified. Call us 0763 555 359 or 0779 432 993. Classified Financial Express, here as your financial friend.
Water is life. Each drop counts, and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Rainblow, your smart irrigation partner.
Are you looking for a reliable and efficient courier company with international standards? Then let UBZ Courier, your trusted partner in swift and secure deliveries, be your ultimate choice. Whether it's a small package or a hefty consignment, UBZ Courier handles it all, locally and internationally. Our modern call center ensures personalized attention for every client. For seamless deliveries within Zambia and beyond, trust UBZ Courier. Call us now on +260 763 0680 or visit us at plot number 15 Mwapona Road, Woodland, Lusaka, Zambia. UBZ Courier, a world-class brand that can be trusted.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chip to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of Palana. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Thank you so much for still staying with us. And now, in international news, healthcare services across Nigeria have been severely disrupted after nurses and midwives launched a nationwide 7-day strike at midnight on Tuesday following the government's failure to respond to a 15-day ultimatum issued by the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives. The industrial action has triggered a widespread shutdown of nursing services at all federal medical centers, including teaching hospitals, specialist hospitals, and eye centers. General hospitals and primary health care facilities have also been affected through private hospitals, though private hospitals remain fully operational. With over 25,000 members, the Nurses Union says the strike is a response to the government's continued failure to address long-standing grievances, including inadequate allowances for night shifts, weekend duties, and emergency reports. Earlier this month, the association expressed disappointment with a recent salary review, which it described as grossly insufficient to reflect the demands and risks of the nursing profession. Here's a roundup of international stories.
Healthcare workers across Nigeria walked out for a 7-day strike at midnight on Tuesday after the government failed to respond to a 15-day ultimatum issued by the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives. Now the country's bracing for a total shutdown of nursing services in all federal medical centres, including teaching hospitals, specialist hospitals and eye centres. General hospitals and primary healthcare centres are also affected, but private hospitals remain fully staffed. Earlier this month, the Nurses Association, which has some 25,000 members, was disappointed by a recent salary review that the group said offered inadequate allowances for nurses on call or working nights and weekends. As well as an increase in pay, the association is asking the Ministry of Health to create a Department of Nursing. They're also calling for safer working conditions and better equipped hospitals.
Dangote Refinery dropped its lawsuit aimed at compelling the Nigerian authorities to restrict fuel imports into the country. It wanted import licenses issued by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority to the state-owned oil and gas company, the NNPC, and several other importers nullified. Dangote had argued that the regulatory authority was in breach of the law by continuing to grant the permits. It said imports were only legally allowed to cover production shortfalls, a threshold it said was no longer applicable as its massive refinery had begun producing petrol. The refinery had also sought $66 million in damages. In March this year, the Federal High Court dismissed a bid by the NNPC and 3 of the oil marketers to reject the case, allowing Dangote's suit to proceed. But despite this, the company has now withdrawn the lawsuit without providing any reason. The case will still be heard on the 29th of September, when the defendants may either seek costs or waive them, allowing the matter to be struck off formally.
As Trump's tariff deadline looms, one of his own clothing manufacturers in Lesotho is hit hard. The factory, which used to produce Trump-branded golf shirts, has seen orders drop after the president imposed a 50% tariff on Lesotho in April.
They put the wrong tag in the wrong spot. As soon as the tariffs were announced, we started having some problems with our buyers. We were like on and off. There was no proper, let's say, we didn't know where we were standing. So as soon as the 3 months suspension came, that's where we decided that let's try to finish the work as soon as possible before the new tariffs are introduced. That's what we were told. And the work, luckily we finished, well, unfortunately we finished way before time, and that is why now we don't have any work.
When Trump announced a month-long tariff pause, the factory rushed to deliver pre-existing orders. But with no new orders coming in, all employees were sent home. I'm the breadwinner in my family. I have 2 children that are currently in school. One is in preschool and another is in primary school doing grade 7. Life is difficult. It has not been easy ever since I was laid off work. My husband is also struggling. He's in between peace jobs. Trump said that he imposed the tariffs in April because of a trade imbalance between the US and Lesotho, but that explanation baffles the government of the small African nation.
Lesotho is a very small economy. The trade deficit that exists between Lesotho and the US, it's a natural trade deficit that can happen when you have this type of disparities between 2 economies. It cannot be breached, and certainly it cannot be breached by imposing tariffs, because the same tariffs, they are inevitably going to make it difficult for us to get foreign exchange that we can use to buy more stuff from the US.
Known as the denim capital of Africa, textile manufacturing is the largest private industry in Lesotho, employing more than 30,000 workers. Trump is set to announce new tariff rates for Lesotho and many other trading partners when the deadline for negotiations ends on Friday.
And finally, in sports news this evening, the Zambia futsal national team delivered a spirited performance but ultimately succumbed to Saudi Arabia 5-4 in a thrilling Group B match at the Continental Futsal Championship 2025 in Bangkok, Thailand. After a disappointing 4-0 loss to Belarus in their opening match, Zambia bounced back with intensity and attacking flair, keeping the physical Saudi side on their toes. Roy Chala scored a brace, while Wiseman Piri and Patrick Banda added crucial goals to keep Zambia in contention. Despite their valiant efforts, Zambia fell short by a single goal, but the team's improved display has boosted their confidence. Zambia's next challenge is their final Group B fixture against Australia on Thursday, July 31, where they will aim to secure a positive result and make a statement in the tournament. And that sporting item brings us to the end of this edition of Main News on Camnet TV. But before we go, we'll take a look at stories that made headlines. MUNIR ZULU did nothing in LUMEZI. He was an absentee MP, says LUFEYO NGOMA. TEVET lecturers cry foul over wage freeze and demand urgent action as sector faces crisis. Government directs FRA to step up maize purchases and expand depot network. Nigeria's nurses begin nationwide strike over poor pay and working conditions. Zambia falls short against Saudi Arabia in thrilling futsal match. Now look at the Camnet verse for the day, coming from the book of Psalms, chapter 37, verse 11, and it reads, "But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace." That ends the reading, and that ends the news on Camnet TV. But dear viewer, like always, do remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel. Now broadcasting live on Topstar channel 106, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and on the Kenstream app. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Tapelo Joe Smarter. Good evening and God bless.